This is part 2 of the Advanced Functions and Modeling review for test number 1. If you need help on questions 1 through 7, make sure you see part 1 in another video. So, write the equation of the line that passes through negative 1, 0 and is perpendicular to y equals 1/3 x plus 8. Whenever you write the equation of a line, you need two things. You need a point and a slope. As you can see, I marked the point they gave us. Now, they didn't explicitly tell us the slope, but they gave us information we can use to find the slope. Perpendicular means you have opposite reciprocal slopes, meaning you flip it and change the sign. So the slope of this line, not our line, but this line, is 1/3. So the slope of our line, you flip that and change the sign. So our slope is -3. So now we can use the point slope form and do y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, well, two negatives make a positive, so that's really x plus 1. And y minus 0 is just y, so we have y equals -3 times x, -3 times 1. So that gives us our answer for number 8. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to move the whole thing. So now number 9 says solve for x when 3 times x plus 2 plus 7 equals 2 times x plus 50. In general, you want to do your distributing first. So I'm going to do 3 times x, which is 3x, 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 7 equals 2 times x, 2 times 50. Okay, let me see if I can move that up for us a little bit, give us a little more room to work with. So now, plus 6 plus 7, 3x plus 13 equals 2x plus 100. Then I can subtract 2x from both sides, and I get x plus 13 equals 100. So then subtract 13 from both sides, and I get x equals 87. And on number 10, it says solve for a. Now, to do this, when we have fractions, we have to multiply by what would be the common denominator. Or you could also say the least common multiple of the denominators. So we have a 2a and we have a 3a. So the least common multiple is going to be 6a. So I'm going to multiply everything, all three pieces in this case, by 6a. So 6a times 5 is 30a. 6a times 10 is 60a. 6a times 4 is 24. 30a over 2a is 15, because the a's cancel, and then 30 divided by 2 is 15. Then over here the a's cancel again. 60 divided by 3 is 20. And, oh, I forgot, 4 times 6a would be 24a. So this just stays 24a. Now I subtract 20 from both sides, and I get -5 equals 24a. And then divide both sides by 24. So I get a equals -5 over 24. Now I told you to omit 11, so I will not be doing that on the video. Well, let's move on to 12. Write as an algebraic expression the product. Okay, let's stop right there. Product means times the product of 6 and the number added to the quotient of 7 in the number. Quotient is divided by. So product of 6 and the number. So we'll just call the number x. So 6x. The product of 6 and the number would be 6 times x, added to the quotient, so we're going to be dividing, of 7 and the number. Number 13, write as an algebraic expression 9 subtracted from a number. So that means it's a number minus 9, because 9 is being taken away from the number. Is. Anytime you see is, that means equals. 20 more, so that's plus 20, then 4 times that number. So 4 times x. Number 14, in the U.S. House of Representatives, there are 50 more Republican representatives than there are Democratic representatives. Now, I think some people get this confused, so I want to write this both ways and see if you can figure out which one makes more sense. Most people can figure out that it's at least one of these two because it's 50 more. Okay, well, just think logically about it. It says there are 50 more Republicans than there are Democrats. So there should be more Republicans than there are Democrats. So if we look at this first one, it says that the number of Democrats, D, is equal to the number of Republicans plus 50 more. So that would imply that there's 50 more Democrats than Republicans. That's not right. So we know that is not the correct way to write it. So the correct way to write it is actually the second one, which is R equals D plus 50. Because the number of Republicans is equal to the number of Democrats plus 50 more. Because there's more Republicans than there are Democrats. In total, meaning if we add the two together, there are 432 representatives. And that part is true. There's always 432. I did not count at the moment to see if there are that many more Republicans or Democrats, but there are always 432 total. So how many representatives are Republican? So with all these types of problems, you need to get two equations or more and then substitute. So we know that R is equal to D plus 50, so we take D plus 50 and plug it in for R. So D plus 50 plus D equals 432. D plus D equals 2D. Then we can subtract 50 from both sides, and we get 2D equals 382. And then divide both sides by 2. So we're actually going to be finding the number of Democrats this way, and it comes out to 196. No, 191. Excuse me, 191. But notice the question asks how many are Republican. So just take this value and plug it back in here. We know the number of Republicans is just the number of Democrats plus 50 more. So if we add 50 to 191, we get 241 Republicans. Okay, last question for this part of the video. Solve I equals 2 plus PRT for T. Again, when they tell you to solve for something, that just means get it by itself. So we have I equals 2 plus PRT. I'm going to rewrite it because it's a little hard to read. Remember, you do have this on your sheet, hopefully. So I can subtract 2 from both sides. That gives me, switch colors here, I minus 2 equals PRT. And then I need to get T by itself, so I divide both sides by PR. So I get I minus 2 over PR equals T. And that's going to conclude part 2. I'm going to have one more video for part 3, and that'll complete the review.